And this is something that's very important. Young people, busy looking for tenders. You're looking for the next big thing. You're waiting to hit your 50 million once in one deal. You're waiting to hit your 100 million in one deal. You're waiting to hit your 10 million in one deal. The problem with this is sometimes you get into debt waiting for your tender to be approved or waiting for some money to be paid. Then it never happens. What's up, people? Once again, welcome to Raw and Real Wednesdays. And today we're going to be looking at something interesting. Remember, here we're looking at different stories from wherever we find them, from the media, and then we react to those stories, but we are picking very crucial lessons from those stories. Because what I do say is that sometimes you need to know that these things are happening in real life, so that when I speak about them in my normal videos, you know I'm not just making them up, but I'm talking about things that happen to people financially speaking. So Raw and Real is basically to look at what is happening in real life, bring it back here, and pick some lessons from it so that you don't have to fall for the same mistakes that some people have fallen for, or not just mistakes really, but some of the things you just have to be careful about when you're dealing with finances and investing. Because the world of finances and investing can be a bit tricky and challenging, and sometimes there are people who are not genuine, trying to make quick money, quick bucks out of people's, hard-earned cash. I give my opinion, remember, but you are free to give your opinion, and it can be a contrary opinion. If you think you can add something, feel free to comment and add something. If you feel that you look at it from a different perspective, feel free again to look at it from a different perspective. I will always engage you, and then we find something that we can learn from. It's all about learning, guys. Nobody has monopoly of knowledge. We are all here to learn. We want to hear from as many people as possible. What do you think about this? Today, we're going to be looking at somebody who lost 68 million from NAKUMATT. 68 million lost, gone down the drain when NAKUMATT fell. Now, the reason I'm going to be looking at this particular story is because people do claim that debt is very good, especially when using it for business. I always say debt can be a good thing when you're using it, but you must have the right financial foundation before you get into debt. You must know that if everything falls, even if it is a mortgage, you must know that if everything falls back, you have a strong financial foundation to support you. And that's why when you're starting the financial journey, when you're starting the financial freedom journey, starting to build wealth, starting to make money, you do not need debt. Debt is going to slow you down. And some people do say that, oh, I keep saying debt is bad, but debt can be a good thing. It's a good thing only if you're in a certain financial position. But from the beginning, you need to invest aggressively, accumulate assets so that you're in a position to support the debts that you want to accrue. And even those people who have assets only take very small percentage of their asset as collateral for debt. So debt is not a good thing. But I'm going to tell you something that happens a lot in Kenya now, because people are busy taking loans to be tenderpreneurs. I know you've heard of the term tenderpreneurship in Kenya. So everyone basically is trying to get a tender from the government, from the institutions, from the supermarkets. They're always fighting so much to get tenders. One thing you must understand is that the structures and the system in Kenya still doesn't support certain things as much. So you're going there basically uninsured, you're going there basically bare and vulnerable. So if you're not someone who has support, if you don't have a proper support system around you, chances are you will be taken advantage of. And this is something that's very important. Young people, busy looking for tenders. You're looking for the next big thing. You're waiting to hit your 50 million once in one deal. You're waiting to hit your 100 million in one deal. You're waiting to hit your 10 million in one deal. The problem with this is sometimes you get into debt waiting for your tender to be approved or waiting for some money to be paid. Then it never happens. I know so many people have gone to this particular route. They've gone looking for tenders from county governments, from the national government, from the health sector, from the different ministries. They look for tenders. Their work is to look for tenders, okay? And then most of these tenders, they require you to do some upfront payment. Apart from the upfront payment, you will have to wait very long for you to be paid your money. This is something you can only do if you have a good financial backing, if you have extra cash, if you're someone who is not just starting to build wealth. This story is very simple. So this lady called Judy basically was supplying onions to NAKUMATT, okay? So she had been supplying for years. According to the story, she says very clearly that she had been supplying onions to NAKUMATT for 3 good years, even borrowing loans to supply onions. Of course, hoping that one day she's gonna cash in on that big check. Now, this is why I've done this video, and this is what I want to discuss. So she lost 68 million when NAKUMATT went down. The creditors were meant to vote on if NAKUMATT was supposed to be dissolved or not, and she was among those people. So, of course, she didn't vote. She didn't even have the power to vote. If you lose 68 million Kenyan shillings, you don't even have the power to go and make such decisions. You're not even in the right mental space to make such decisions. So these creditors decided overwhelmingly that they should actually dissolve NAKUMATT. And that's when she just felt her world had crashed. But having worked for 3 years, lost all that money, lost all that time, lost all that energy, what do you do? It's a difficult situation to be in. But there are ways in which you can avoid such situations. Like I have said, you have to understand that the developing countries, especially Kenya, we still don't have certain structures that protect some people and certain things. So if you're going to be supplying something for 3 years without payment, that is not a very clever move. It's not a very wise move. Despite the amount of money you are being promised, despite the amount of money you are looking at, it's not a clever move to get into debt so as to supply someone who is constantly selling those things but not paying you back. And a lot of young people are now doing this. They're looking for tenders. And that's why I did this. Tenders can be a good thing, yeah? Because you get to, be entrepreneurial. But be careful the kinds of tenders you're looking for. Be careful with people who are in positions of power who are now taking advantage of young people who are looking for tenders. So now you get into debt, you pay upfront fee and lots of other fees, administration fees they call them. Then you also have to wait for your payment for months and months on end, and sometimes even years. So this is something that can plunge you into financial obscurity, and you don't want to get to that position. So what I'm saying is, if you're a young person, start the process of investing slowly and patiently. Don't wait to hit it big. If you feel that there's a tender that you need to go for, yes, go for it, but follow the due process. Make sure it's something that everyone is competing for in an open way. Don't go to people who are telling you, oh, I can fix you in, I can always get you this tender. I can make you the next millionaire. I can make you billionaire. If that person was in a position to actually give that tender to someone, they will give it to themselves or to their families first. So we have seen so many tenders, so many big corruption cases happen in Kenya. And if you follow them properly, where money was actually paid, the money is usually paid to family members or very close friends, very close associates. So you don't just get any random person off the streets and then give them tenders. But the person who is just getting you off the street or some acquaintance giving you some big tender, that is usually a recipe for disaster. And the problem is a lot of people have become vulnerable to these tenders. So they are keenly and consistently looking for these tenders that will give them big money, but they don't realize the risks involved in doing this. So guys, to the young people, please, even if you're going for these tenders, even if you want to become a entrepreneur, you want to drive V8s and Range Rovers and whatever it is, be careful. Don't get into debt to do it, number one. Number two, if you don't have the right financial backing, don't do it. Number three, build wealth in a consistent way. Do the normal things that people do. Build your skills up. Do business, normal business that you're working hard for, and build your wealth consistently. It's very promising, and sometimes you can feel like you're tempted to do it, but chances are it always ends so badly. So guys, always remember very simply, if it sounds too good to be true, probably it is. Okay? So guys, that was the essence of this video. So Judy lost 68 million and that's it. There was no recourse to it. Though they were saying that the investigations should be done and that this money should be paid back to these creditors because there are so many creditors apart from Judy, this is something that will take time and may not happen. And you guys know how the country is when it comes to the justice system. This is something that could take years. Now, in this particular situation, again, the banks are in better position to recover money because they managed to get some of the assets that were owned by this former CEO of NAKUMATT and confiscate them. But as an individual, with no clear backing of the government or any institution, it becomes even more expensive and even more difficult to chase such money. So just keep off is the best way. Do normal things that people do. Work on whatever it is you are working on. Invest money consistently and you will build wealth. Don't try the quick riches through tenderpreneurship. Tenderpreneurship is a big problem. Okay? So keep off it. Let me know your opinion below in the comments. Let's discuss this. Are you doing tenderpreneurship? Are you hoping that someone is going to give you some good deal, some good tender? Let me know. But like I say, just be careful always, okay? Next time, it's Money Matters.
One's a company, two's a crowd, three's